the front right now, we have some Toyota Extensa HPs at a 245/35/20s. But as of right now, we are sticking with the exact same tire size that we already currently have in the front. And as you guys can see right behind me, I actually changed it up a little bit. And right now I'm running a Nitto 245/35/20. And I'm gonna actually go into GMC right now where Joe is working, and Joe is actually gonna be putting the tires on for me because my ass doesn't know shit about putting on tires. And later in this video, you guys are gonna see a SwayBar put on this car to match up perfectly with the tires that we're gonna be putting on here shortly. So this thing is gonna grip up really, really nice. This is what the inside of my tire looked like, and I was telling you guys that it was from when I had that blown coil over it. It's like rough, and I don't even know where there's a hole in here, but my tire keeps losing air, but it's somewhere. But this was eventually gonna go blow out at some point.
You got your own free sweats, huh?
Like from the inside of the car, it doesn't look that bad, but when you take it off, it's like, fuck.
How long has it been a ball like this?
Give or take like 2 years.
2 years?
2 years. Would you recommend changing that?
Yeah.
But what are you doing exactly?
I'm not just breaking the bead.
A control.
The control.
Feels good to have new meats. Joe and I were just pointing this out a second ago as he was doing the tire balance, and it looks like my rim might be bent a little bit right here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap right here, and then it's a little bit closed off there. And if you watch it spin, if you follow that line, you can see it bouncing a little bit, and it's not horrible. We don't know if it's gonna be too serious or not, but on the computer, Joe is saying that, what?
I mean, it just requires 2 ounces, which is not bad. It's really bad when it requires like 10 ounces.
So it's like a minor bent then if that's the case.
Yeah.
Then if you watch here and you watch that line, it's not bouncing at all. So you can tell that this side of the rim is flat, while the other side is bent. So pretty much it's not really that big of a deal, but we just wanted to point that out. So Joe and I right now, we're gonna be throwing on a SwayBar after we just did the tires a few weeks ago. It took a lot longer than we anticipated, but we're gonna be throwing on this RTR SwayBar on the front end of the car. We currently right now have one on the rear end of the car, and it's actually a Steeder rear SwayBar. This one, again, is the RTR one. We got some new bushings that go along with it, and a nice sticker that Joe ended up bringing up a couple weeks ago, and I don't even know if that sticker is even still in the bag anymore, but we'll find out because we definitely want to throw that on the windshield once we're all done with all of this. But currently right now, we're just setting everything up. We have it on the lift, thankfully, for once, and we actually in a nice cooled area, but we're gonna be throwing on that SwayBar here, and we're just gonna be going along the process. So right now we're gonna end up having to remove the end link in order to get the SwayBar off of the bottom, but as reference, we're gonna have to use a 19mm wrench to be able to get this nut off, and we're also gonna have to use an Allen key, because without the Allen key, we're not gonna be able to remove the nut. It's kind of like a lock washer in there to make sure this doesn't come off while you're driving. So that's why you have to throw an Allen key in there, as well as use a 19mm wrench in order to be able to remove this. And once we get under the car, we'll be able to remove this pan, which will give us access to these frames that go across on both sides. You have one there, and also one on this side. We'll be able to remove that, and the SwayBar should be able to just drop right out. I was just telling Joe a second ago, I have absolutely no clue how to use any of these fancy tools. So I was like, bro, like, how do I use this thing? So I'm so used to like these redneck tools I use in my back of my trunk.
That's for the
We got one there, we got one here, and we also have, which one? I think it's also this, if I already didn't count that already.
A-frame will be in the way.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's also that too. That was an issue we ran into before, because Joe and I already tried this one other time already, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. And one of the things that we realized that you have to remove this brace. You can't just fish it through even with the wheel off. You must actually remove this in order to be able to drop this whole bar out.
It's really easy.
Hopefully nothing else falls off. it back. Look how easy that was. It only took us 40 minutes last time to do this. So first things first, as you can see, this is the stock bar that we have here, and this is the upgraded bar that we're gonna be going to. The stock one doesn't have any adjustable links to it, while the new one's gonna have a 4-way adjustable, like the rear. The rear actually right now has a 3-way adjustable. As you can see, there's 3 holes. You have one here, and also here. Probably gonna end up making this more loose in the front, just so we can get more grip in the rear. Does that sound about right?
I didn't hear what you said, but yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Our main issue now is gonna. So this is the bushing you're gonna be using, the wider bushing, since it comes with 2 different.
Yeah,
bushings.
I wonder what the extra bushings are for. Is it for rear sway bars, maybe?
I have no idea, but
I mean, it's always nice to have backup.
this one matches this.
All right, and then that's the one we're going with.
Our main issue is separating these 2 pieces right here.
It looks like it has something to do with these little tabs right here that need to be like popped off, and then once that comes off, you'll be able to access the bushing.
Just need the bracket.
And while Joe's doing the manual labor over here, I'm going to show you guys what the suspension setup looks like under the car, because I don't really ever show you guys too much what it's like under here, because I kind of just talk about it a lot, but I never really actually show it. But these are the exhaust cutouts I have, which have absolutely nothing to do with suspension, but while I'm already under here, you guys know what they look like. They're, you know, they're relatively nice. What's cool about them is that they don't hit the ground at all. I kept them high up on purpose because I was originally wanting to plan them to put somewhere like along the lines of right here. I actually had a bag burn right here one time, so that's always gonna be a good memory. But I originally wanted them right here, but as I thought about when the car sits lower to the ground, I'm gonna have an issue of these smacking, possibly ripping off the entire exhaust. So I sat them up as high as I possibly can, to enough where I didn't have to worry about the diff hitting this exhaust cutout. And as for the other suspension parts, I'm running a UMI Panhard bar with a BMR Panhard bar brace, as well as we've already talked about earlier, a SwayBar in the rear end that is a 35mm bar. And I believe this one in the front's gonna be a 33. And one last thing I wanna also talk about too are these UMI rear lower control arms, and all that works super, super well all together. And I'm really excited to see how well this all pans out once that bar gets put on. We wanna match up these bushings as best we possibly can to the new one, but we have to put these new bushings on here. And so the best thing we're gonna try to do is to try to line up as much as we can. And if we have to adjust, we will. Reliable.
I want to get a sticker now that says that. Torque was 52 foot-pounds.
So when that light turns green, that means it's up to torque spec. And when that light's yellow, it means that you got to keep busting your ass until you get it to green. Should be good to go now, with the exception of putting on that brace back at the bottom. And after that, we should be done.
tighter, to be honest. Just a little bit. Please turn green so I can take this corner. I know, I want that corner.
That would have been such a great turn. This car's playing games with me right now because I'm looking at it like I'm worried about two things. The sway bar itself and my fans, because when I was driving over to the Joe's shop in order to get the sway bar put on, my fans weren't working. It's making my car get hot, and I'm worried about two fucking things, and it's at 198. What I mean by 198, I mean 198 degrees, and the fans don't turn on until 200, and that's what I want to see if they turn on.
Well, this is Silverado. Driving like a Beamer, bro.
We're winning, baby, we're winning! Alright, let's take this turn and not crash into a pole.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude, I felt that grip.
Dude, that feels like no understeer. Zero.
That felt like my car.
Okay, hopefully I don't get some reckless driving ticket here.
Actually, fuck. Warn me first.
Oh, sorry. Warning you.
Right.
I know.
Okay. But careful, there's a dip coming up.
Where? Right here?
No, come. Jesus Christ. This is the most grippy I've felt your car.
This feels good. I love it. Dude, like, I feel so confident driving this thing now. Like, we're ready for the track, baby. We're ready.
You and me can do some autocross.
This car hasn't felt this good in forever. Ah, shut up.
Exhaust making noise.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, that feels good. That's the shit. Dude, I can't say this is my favorite part because I say it again. I say this in every one of these videos. Favorite part, but it's true. Like the next part is my favorite part. That's the best way I could put it. This SwayBar, genuinely, like I don't know why I waited this long to get this. This was probably one of the best investments I could have made. Like, fuck all the exterior shit. Like, yeah, it's cool and all, but I promise you, get suspension. Like, Joe and I, like, are trying our best to fully build the suspension on our cars. Fuck power. Like, power is fun and all, but when you have suspension, you have some fun. And it's safe, and it's reliable, and you don't have to worry about replacing shit when it breaks later on. You already just have, like, the best of both worlds under the car. Think about it. You have fun, and you're making practicality out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. If you had rear tires, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. I think I'm done with the suspension parts for now.
Well, I don't know, what about that A-frame?